You can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. And so if you would like to listen in a still position, you can feel free to take all the time you need to arrive there. And just allow yourself to fidget and adjust, stretch, or move in whatever ways feel good in your body. And doing your best to not think about the movements, but more letting your body move you in the ways that intuitively feel good in your bones and muscles and joints. Not worrying at all about what it looks like, but coming fully into your sense of feeling and just following the yummy sensations you might get if you do some cat-cow motions with the spine, or maybe some side body bends or torso twists. Maybe even reaching the arms up overhead to take a nice morning stretch. And just feeling the space between the bottom of your rib cage and your hips, your hip bones, so that feeling that space just elongate slightly, so you give your organs lots of space to breathe. And there's no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But at any point, if you haven't already, you can make your way into a still position, feeling that the spine is nice and straight in whatever position you've chosen. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. Take a moment to mark your arrival into your body today and into your practice today with a full, intentional cleansing breath. And take a full, deep inhale in through the nose and watch yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you with this new air from today. And just holding that for a moment when you're full to really experience that sense of fullness. And without straining as you need to, slowly let all of that go. And just gently pulling the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment to experience that sense of emptiness. And allow your next breath to come to you as it's needed. And you can breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful in your body. Just exaggerating the 4 parts of your breath. So not worrying too much about the actual length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but letting them be exaggerated, whatever that means for you today. So when you would naturally stop inhaling, seeing if you can take in one more sip of air, get a little bit fuller. And when you would naturally start to exhale, see if you can pause for a moment longer. And then as you exhale, even when you think you're empty, seeing if you can push a little bit more air out of you and pause when you're empty for a moment longer. As we consciously slow down the process of our breath, communicating to our nervous system that we are slowing down. And if you're in a space today where you feel like you need more energy in your body, you need more support, maybe you feel below par, you can envision maybe some helpful and uplifting energy coming into your body as you inhale. Envisioning that solidifying within you as you pause. And as you exhale, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of. And if you're in a space right now where you feel like there's too much within you, and you feel maybe very anxious or like there's a lot going on inside of you, then you can focus a bit more fully on your exhales and really envision maybe like a dark smoke leaving your body as you exhale, and just letting go of whatever is ready to leave you. And as you inhale, envisioning maybe a bright light filling in those darker spaces. And so you can continue to breathe like this for as long as it feels good and helpful in your body. But at any point, if you haven't already, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether and allow yourself to step back and up in the mind into the role of the observer or the witness. And to the point of view where you are simply watching the fact that your body is breathing, rather than having any direct influence over the rhythm or depth of your breath. And just remembering that your body does breathe all on its own without any of your direction. Even when you are deep in sleep, your body continues to breathe in and out. Taking on that same perspective you might have if you are laying on the beach, just watching the waves roll up along the shoreline. Watching as the waves come and go, and simply watching. Not trying to change anything about the size or speed of the waves, but just observing. Knowing that your body, your breath, is a force of nature, just like the waves. And also reminding yourself that some days this feels very straightforward, to watch your body breathing without impacting it at all. And other days this feels nearly impossible, so it is perfectly okay wherever you are at today. Letting your awareness just come to rest on your face. And even with your eyes closed, noticing any expression that could be resting on your face right now. Feeling any areas of tension, maybe in the eyebrows or the jaw, maybe in the nostrils or the chin. Noticing any emotions that could be communicated by any expression resting on your face. And just making note for yourself of what these emotions could be. And then choosing to soften these areas. Remembering that you do have the power to release physical tension in your body. And oftentimes when there's a lot of tension in our mind, maybe repeating thoughts, or if we're digging ourselves in a mental hole of anxiety or worries, it can be nearly impossible for us to tell our minds to stop thinking of a certain thing. So instead, what we can do is shift our attention to the physical, to what is here right now, physically in our bodies, not mentally. And choose to allow your jaw to just hang into place, Allow your nostrils to release. Allow your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. And feeling how that softness will naturally help release the chin, the upper jaw and the ears, the eyelids, the eyebrows and forehead. And even feeling your hairline soften back slightly as your forehead gets wider and deeper. The corners of your eyes get slightly wider by the release of tension along the lash line. And allow all that softness in your face to naturally cascade down the scalp, feeling the shoulders release down and away from the ears. As you just feel that space between your shoulders and your ears get a little bit longer. And allow the tips of your shoulders to almost reach away from each other. So you feel your collarbones broaden and your heart sits in this proud position with your chin tucking slightly down toward the heart. And you feel that space between your heart and your head clearing a little bit more, creating a clear channel from your heart through your throat, up into the brain stem, and into your brain. Maybe even feeling air able to enter into your lungs with a bit more ease. And with each breath in that your body takes, maybe feeling a sense that your rib cage is slightly hugging your lungs. Feeling all those muscles across your abdomen to soften. Maybe even feeling a hugging sensation of these muscles against your organs with each breath in that your body takes. Feeling your pelvic floor lengthen and widen into the surface beneath you. As your glutes soften a bit more, and all the muscles down your legs and in both feet become even softer. Feeling a sense that the muscles all across your body are just ungripping from the bones and releasing back into the support of your skin. And feeling a sense of trust with your own anatomy. Knowing that as you let go, every single thing within you will be held right where it needs to be without any of your direction and without any of your doing. Letting some more of your awareness just gradually funnel into your heart. And with each breath that your body takes, another part of you brings attention to your heart. Gradually, until all of your awareness is solely focused on this heart beating right within your own chest. And tuning into this unique rhythm that is this steady background beat for every single thing you do in your life. Maybe even placing one or both hands on top of the heart to just encourage that feeling from the outside as well. if that feels helpful. And making note of how your heart is feeling right now. Maybe it feels really heavy. Maybe it feels weighed down with pain that you've experienced, with different attachments that have connected to this heart. Maybe you almost feel like a sense that this heart is split, or part of your heart is somewhere else. And with the next breath in that your body takes, just calling all of your heart back to itself. Calling all of your energy back to you. Our energy is often so split between all these different things that we focus on that are outside of us. And just let this be a time where you call all of that back to you. Gradually turning more and more of your awareness inward. Knowing that our heart will often split throughout our lives. Part of us will attach ourselves to things outside of us. And that is okay. But just allowing this to be a time where you call it all back, where you regroup with yourself. Knowing that this does not mean you're pulling away from things permanently. It just means that you are taking this time to regroup, to check back in with all of you. A time to recharge. Knowing that time that you spend solely focusing on you and your body and your heart is the least selfish thing you can do. And what it actually does is fuel you even more so that you can go out into the world and share more of yourself. Everyone needs their batteries charged, their cup filled up, whatever analogy makes the most sense to you. And so allowing this to be your time for you. We will all come across people in our lives that really convince us that they know us better than we know ourselves, or they know what's best for us. And just know that if you ever hear these things from anyone outside of you, let that alone, those phrases, be a cue for you to tune inward and just trust that that is impossible. Nobody will ever know you better than you know you. You are the one spending every single moment of your life with yourself. And nobody else will ever be inside of your mind, inside of your heart, inside of the essence of who you are. This is where you live. And you never have to give that power away to anyone else. And there are people out there who will try to take that power from you. And this does not mean anything about you as a person. It does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are an easy target or someone who is maybe more susceptible to these things. But all of us can fall victim to people who want to take something from us. whether that be money or time or love. There are people out there who feel a lack, and they believe that that lack comes from the world around them, and that they have to go and take from others to feel better. Maybe us ourselves will even fall into those traps, believing that we need to earn more from the people around us. But just know that even when we fall into those ways of thinking, that we are lacking something, or that we need more love from the world around us, we need more anything from the outside. Let those feelings and those thoughts be a cue for you to remind yourself that through this heart, you have a direct connection to the source that all life comes from. Because the life that animates your body moves through your heart. And so you have a direct line of connection to the source of all love, all life, and whatever else you believe in created all of this. You have a direct connection to the source of all life simply because you are life. And so it would be impossible for you to earn any more of that from the outside world, because you have the connection to the source of all of it, just as anyone with a heart has. And so you do not need to earn more from the outside, but you can remind yourself of this infinite supply that you possess right within your own heart. And flip that narrative to, instead of going out trying to earn more love, we can go out and share the love that we already have. Share our passions, share whatever you feel compelled to share. And you'll see how that will naturally allow it to grow, expand, and awaken within the people we interact with. And reminding ourselves to be so deeply patient with yourself and your journey. Remembering that there will always be a period of time between when we recognize we need to make a change, maybe break ties with someone or something, and when we actually have the power, the resources to make those changes final. And building attachments takes time, but breaking attachments can sometimes take even more time. And it does not mean anything about you. It just means that you are a human and you are living through this human experience. And you are never alone in what you are struggling with. Even when it feels like you're the only one who understands, there's someone else out there who is living through a very similar experience and also feels alone. And so you don't have to feel alone by yourself. There are others out there who understand and are in different phases maybe of the same change you're moving through. Have made it to the other side perhaps and are encouraging you to just hold on. It does get easier. And every single storm runs out of rain. even when you are in the middle of a giant thunderstorm and it feels like it'll never end. You know on a deep level that it will. The only thing all of us can count on in this life is that things change. Everything changes. There is not one thing in this world that is forever. Everything is temporary. And so you can let that be a great comfort to you if you're in a space right now that you would like to change, because it will, regardless of what you do. Things will change. And you can also use that same fact as permission for you to fully soak in all the good things you're feeling. And release any guilt you might have for feeling good when you know there are others hurting. And instead, use the good that you feel to support those who are hurting. To gather even more love and really soak it up to power you through future times where you will be hurting. And so you can just continue to feel whatever is present for you to feel. And continue to let go. Continue to soften any areas of tension you feel creeping back in. And just listen to these following words written by young Pueblo in his book Inward. But just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to soak in even deeper, and not worrying about the rest. There is an important difference between dwelling in misery and understanding that on the path of healing, things will come up that sometimes cause us to feel the old emotions and patterns that we are working on letting go. There is great power in honoring the reality of our current emotions, not feeding them or making them worse, but simply recognizing that this is what has arisen in this present moment and that this will also change. When we create this space within ourselves, a space of calmness that is undisturbed by the storm tends to pass more quickly. Practicing such profound honesty within ourselves helps in all facets of internal and external life. There is no real freedom without honesty, and without honesty, there can be no peace of mind. Healing ourselves isn't about constantly feeling bliss. Being attached to bliss is a bondage of its own. Trying to force ourselves to be happy is counterproductive, because it suppresses the sometimes tough reality of the moment, pushing it back within the depths of our being, instead of allowing it to arise and release. Many forms of modern-day love contain conditions, meaning that we have an idea that we want those we feel deeply for to fulfill. Sometimes we don't see our hopes and expectations for the ones closest to us as conditional forms of love, because we perceive what we want for them as good. Unknowingly, in our wanting of what is best for them, we limit our ability to give them the finest and most powerful form of love, a selfless love that empowers them to decide for themselves what is best for their lives. So much of what we think love is actually attachment and expectation. Focusing on giving in our relationships isn't easy. It is a habit that requires strengthening repetition, healing our minds, and allowing our selfless nature to come forward, for it to become our new normal. There is a special harmony that arises when two people focus on giving more to each other. A subtle communication and growing awareness between them that allows for better support of each other's happiness. And that can never be a one-sided thing. We may worry, how will I ensure what I desire is met? A better question may be, has solely focusing on meeting my desires truly brought me happiness? The happiest people, the ones who have successfully purified their minds of all conditioning and craving, tend to have such a strong compassion and understanding of love that their lives naturally focus on giving to others. In this giving and clarity of mind, they find happiness. I will add to that we cannot be the only ones who are giving. It doesn't matter how loving and caring you are. It doesn't matter how much love you believe you have for a person. If you are not receiving that same love in return, it is a black hole. And it is not your fault that you give love to anything or anyone that doesn't give it back to you. But recognizing that this is what is happening is so powerful and so difficult to do. So you can just be so proud of yourself for simply recognizing, if this is the case for you, that you have been giving love to something that maybe doesn't deserve your love. There is so much internal honesty that requires. And so that is no small feat, and you can be so proud of yourself for making that first, most difficult step of just simply recognizing and accepting what reality is. Reminding yourself that accepting reality does not mean that you like it or agree with it or want it to be this way. It simply means that you acknowledge what is. Acknowledge the reality of what is happening. And from that place of acknowledging reality, you then have the power to make different choices that will change your reality with time. To stop giving energy where it's not giving you anything back. And a relationship should always be giving something to you. You should not feel like you are losing yourself in someone else. It is a give and take. We will always be giving to any relationship, whether that is romantic or friends and family. What we get in return fuels us to give more, and it has to be this reciprocal process. And if it's not, we should feel safe to say that, to make changes. And if we don't feel safe to be honest, that is a great, powerful cue that we should shift our attention elsewhere, to places where we do feel safe. And so Just again, being so kind and patient with yourself wherever you are in the process of change. Again, reminding yourself there will always be a period of time between when we recognize we need to change something and when we actually make those changes. And so wherever you are in that process, allow yourself to be there and trust that you will move forward. You will move on. Time is always going by, even when it feels like it's still. And every storm runs out of rain. Reminding yourself of this heart. Tuning into this heart as often as you remember. This heart is your source of love for yourself, for the world around you. It is your source of compassion and empathy for yourself and others. And this heart can teach you more than anything else in this world could ever teach you. Quiet time with yourself will always be your greatest teacher. And you never have to give your power away to anyone else. And so if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let your hands come and find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. And just feel this pulsing of your palms and fingers into one another. And let your heart lift toward your thumbs as your thumbs press back toward your heart. As you just feel all of this power generated through you. And let yourself take a deep and full breath into the body once again. Filling up to every corner and edge of you with this fresh, clean, new air. And as you exhale, letting go of whatever you're ready to let go of. As you allow the head to gently bow. And taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and for taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.